Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I will speak to you today about the new district gold discovery we made in southwestern Mongolia. We've been working in this area for over 10 years, and over the past several years we've discovered 2 high-grade gold deposits. The objective now is to get that first deposit in place, which will produce about 60,000 ounces per year of high-grade gold open pit mining at the Bayan Khundii deposit, and launch us into a trajectory that will take us into a major regional gold producer. Our location is about 200 kilometers from China near the Seke border crossing. This is a major coal mining center now, which has infrastructure, blacktop highways and railways, which will allow us to bring the plant and equipment into the country. We're also going to benefit from the Mongolian government's incentivizing of hard rock gold production through the Gold 2 program, and we'll be selling all of our gold to the Mongol Bank. The specific licenses you can see on this page, 2 deposits, Alton to the north and Bayan Khundii to the south. Collectively, these host approximately 1.1 million ounces of over 2 grams, high grade for open pit deposits. But these are also in an area that's never previously before seen exploration. We found these through grassroots exploration, satellite imagery, and this is the first modern exploration that's taken place in these areas. So there's a tremendous amount of upside through the exploration of other targets around these deposits. Yesterday we announced the results of our pre-feasibility study, so let me share those with you. On the left-hand side is the first gold project, the pre-feasibility study for Bayan Khundii, and on the right is the Alton deposit. At Bayan Khundii, we have a net present value of 97 million, 42% return on investment, a mine life of approximately 7 years, and importantly, a head grade of 3.7 grams per ton. The all-in sustaining costs on this are about $750 an ounce, and the capital cost for this approximately $40 million. The mine will initially produce approximately 61,000 ounces per year, and this will be the first phase. The second phase will come on with the Alton project later in the mine life, which you see on the right. The brown columns you see on this graph are the net present value in IRR at $1,300 gold. At current gold prices, you can see $1,500 gold. The NPV raises to about 144 million, and the IRR 58%. This is a combination of companies that are currently going through PEA through PFS, and I thought it was good to look at this group of peers to give you a sense of how that return on investment shapes up in the industry today. So that 42% is very high relative to others in the industry. And on the bottom of the page is the capital compared to that same group of peers, $40 million capex. Again, quite a low capex relative to other gold projects developed in the world today. The importance of these discoveries is really around grade. And what you see in this graph is a series of companies that are currently going through pre-development work. The black and blue circles are companies that are developing underground, and the blue underground and open pit. What this slide demonstrates is just how high grade our underground deposit is. All of the brown circles are open pit deposits, and we stand apart from that quite significantly with an average grade of 3.7 grams per ton, and also a very high recovery of over 90%. Further on the grade, this is a collection of the top 100 open pits globally, and you can see that we're sitting in the top decile of current open pit grades. The deposit is exposed at surface. You can see an image here at the top, which the mineralization comes to surface. In fact, our first hole drilled 7 meters of an ounce of gold right at surface, and we continue to see those types of grades as we move through this deposit. The average head grade is 3.7 grams, a 10-to-1 strip. The initial pit will mine out about 422,000 ounces with a 91% recovery, gives us 380,000 ounces over the first 7 years. We've met our milestones over the past year. We established our resources late last year, our PEA. We secured our mining license in August, which is a key milestone in Mongolia. We yesterday announced our pre-feasibility, and now we'll launch into the bankable feasibility and permitting, which we expect to complete by mid-next year before we move into construction and development for production in 2021. This is a simple pit. There's nothing exotic about this. Very simple metallurgy. The plant will be right on top of the pit, and we'll be mining that out for 7 years before we use that haul road you see on the map to move to Alton in the north. The plant is quite simple. This is a non-sulfide type ore, oxide type ore. Recoveries are very good. We've priced this plant from 2 manufacturers in China, and it will be a simple crush, grind, and CIP plant. We have a long history in Mongolia and a team that's been together for the better part of 10 to 20 years. We have strength in all disciplines, from finance and admin to government relations to the mining engineering side. The benefits to Mongolia are significant. We'll employ approximately 300 people. We'll produce over 75 million in taxes and royalties for the government. And importantly, last year, we became the first dual-listed company on the Mongolian Stock Exchange. We have 6,800 Mongolian shareholders, which includes a group that invested through the launch of the financing on the MSE. But every person that lives within 200 kilometers of our mine site now is a shareholder of our company. Moving on from the value of the mine development to the growth upside potential, this is one of the most prolific gold belts in the world, second only to South Africa. Hosts a number of very, very large gold deposits in Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, and through China into Mongolia. Yet the area that we focused on has never been explored before. So we feel that there's tremendous upside for discovery as we use this initial development as a foundation and continue to build our exploration out from there. Just in the area of the current pit, we have 100,000 ounces of inferred resources that could move into this development, and a number of areas that require further exploration. Again, coming back to the point that it's never seen exploration before, we've already discovered 3 other significant gold zones within 3 kilometers of the pit, areas where we're hitting up to 2 ounces of gold in drill holes near surface. So exceptional discovery potential around this initial Bayan Khundii development. And then further north, the Alton deposit, which would come second in the development, currently has 500,000 ounces of gold, 3 million ounces of silver, and 100 million pounds each of lead and zinc. So we'll look to develop this potentially as a standalone development as well, but significant exploration room here as well. This deposit, again, comes to surface tremendously rich. You can see some of the grades on this page, up to 14 meters of 2 ounces of gold in the center of this system. This is a collection of some of the high-grade intercepts. I won't go through them all, but one of our most recent drill holes, 112 meters of 5.9 grams per ton, beginning at surface. The image you see in the bottom right, 2,200 grams per ton, intersected in drilling last year. You know, grades that you don't expect to see in open pit developments. I've talked about many of these key technical and social license items. I would point out that just last week we announced that the European Bank of Reconstruction and Development is providing us with a $5 million convertible loan, which will finance us through to a development decision next year. So we're fully funded through the next stage of studies and permitting. Our market capitalization today is $28 million US. This is relative to a $180 million NPV if you look at current gold prices for both projects. We have a very strong shareholder base made up of Teck Resources, Canada's largest diversified mining company, a number of institutions here in Asia and throughout North America, and a very strong retail base in Eastern Canada. Our board is exceptional for a company our size. We have a number of individuals that have managed major projects in Mongolia, including Oyu Tolgoi. We have Canada's first ambassador to Mongolia on our board, and recently added Hedley Widdop with Lion Selection out of Australia. When you look at the value drivers in project lifecycle for mining investments, you typically see that run up in the curve early, that hype of a new discovery, which we saw in our share price in 2017. And then you go through a bit of a trough as you go through the funding risk and the assessment period. And that's where we are today. As we begin to de-risk this towards production, we see tremendous upside in the value of this high-grade deposit. So in summary, we have 2 high-grade deposits exposed at surface, triple the average grade of open pit deposits in the world today. We have a very high-grade deposit with near-term, low capex, high return project with rapid payback. But we're in an area that's never been explored before. We found 2 high-grade deposits at surface with relatively limited exploration and have a number of untested targets in the area. We're experts in an unexplored portion of one of the world's great gold belts. And we've really focused on the social license side in Mongolia. As I mentioned, 6,800 Mongolian shareholders. We're engaged in the community and have been there for 10 years, which is a key if you want success in the mining business today. Thank you very much. Happy to take questions at our booth later today. Thank you.